And the best thing I said in that interview was when he came with this all thing, yes, but you use statistics and you know how much you can cheat with statistics. And I just answered, I don't talk about data, I talk about girls. Because I think we shouldn't, outside there, we shouldn't talk about data. Because what we talk about is reality. We are studying reality and we are communicating how reality is. Whether it is the proportion of girls who go to school, whether it is the proportion of children who die, whether violence against women increase or decrease in Serbia, as we heard. We are not talking about the numbers, except some few of us who have personality disorders, Most of us, we are interested in how people live. And that's what we communicate. So that's why I said understanding children through data. And I just got this idea that the conceptual model that we have been used have been quite simple. We're interested in data and we have the world, so we collect data from the world and then we send it back. It's quite an easy conceptual model, I don't think it works. Because we handle the world as if it was colleagues, data analyst colleagues out there in the world. And if there is anything out of their world in the world, there are very few data analyst colleagues out there. We have to use data when we discuss data. We have to use numbers when we discuss what we do with numbers. So let me take this question. How many children out of 10 in the world get measles vaccines? And just to make it straightforward, measles vaccine is the most important of the vaccines we have. It's delicate, so it's if it's outside the refrigerator for 10 to 20 minutes, it's destroyed. So imagine now, 10 representative kids between their first and the second birthday. How many of them? Can I start in this end? How many think that it's 1 out of 10? Hand up. How many think it's 2 out of 10? 3 out of 10? 4 out of 10? 5 out of 10? 6 out of 10? 7 out of 10? 8 out of 10? Probably data is better understood at local level where it's weaker, as we've talked today. Because in your own district, your own country, you know a little more how unemployment rates are. But the world data that we communicate, that's sort of really challenging because you don't have your personal experience from the whole world. So this is a shocking thing, So this with giving the data back to the world, it seems it doesn't work really well. So why do we do this with data? I've now sat behind here and I heard the very, very good discussions in these last 2 panels. And much of this was covered there. But my way of putting it is like this. Yes, we do data because we want to advocate. We want to argue for our thing. Whether it is on international level to vaccinate the children, or whether it's in the local level with the raw minority in Serbia, or whether it's vaccination of children in northern Kenya or whatever. We use it for advocate. That's fine, but that's not the most important. That's not why we collect data. We want to monitor what we do. We want to see whether violence against women decreases. We want to see whether children get vaccinated in the remote areas. We want to see if things change, monitor. But the main reason, we want to understand. We must understand what is it that has to be done. What needs to be done and how and where. So the analysis and the formation of policy, I think that's the most important. Then comes monitoring and in the end advocacy. There's a risk in companies, organizations, and in ministries that advocacy becomes the #1 reason for collecting data. And that's a quite costly way of doing it. So my conceptual model is like this. Yes, the world is here and we get the data, but the data has to go here and we have to change concept. We have to simplify it enormously. And then the concept goes down to the world. If the problem is in Serbia that there's so much violence against women that is not registered, that is the concept, We have now, since we started to collect this data, it's increasing, but we know now that there's so much out there. Report it. Women stand up, have organization, do something about it. It's a concept we have to have. And if we have the concept is that poverty is really going down, we have to say it's going down. We can't come with numbers. That doesn't work. Numbers doesn't enter into the public mind.